Perfect. So sorry about that, guys. Hello, Kara. How are you today? Hello, Veronica. Hey, Tammy. You you were watching the shower curtain install? It's pretty cool, huh? You have got to try that. And hello, it's TGIS. Hi, Sheila. I mailed out your one gifts. One is indeed WON, like the gifts you won. Mailed those out yesterday for you. So it should take about a week or so. I think that's about how long it took for Denise to get hers. And, me being in Canada and you being in the US shouldn't take too much longer. Hello, Granny Doe. Hi, Mama. Uh, no, I don't think that works for you and me, Tammy. I think you're a little bit older than I am. That's weird. Anyways, but you can call me TGIS. You can call me sassy. You can just don't call me late for dinner. No, I'm just kidding. See, yeah, I was like, Mama, no, that doesn't work for us. Hey, Jennifer. Hello, Cal, Alice, Soul, Lisa, Sapphire Life. Welcome. First time I've seen you here. Yes, thank God it's Sherry. TGIS. So, there's been some recent discussion around the fact that it's possible that Christopher Watts had a lengthier interview in the prison with CBI, and we did not perhaps even get all of that as the public. So, United Province, I do remember you. Welcome again. Hello, hello. So I wanted to talk about that because, actually, there's this one clip I wanted to play with you, for you guys, for you. Same thing. Let's take a listen to this. You know what? Let me start off by saying thank you to everybody who has continued to support me and just been words of encouragement to me. It's been really helpful and handy. And even throughout everything that I'm dealing with my own family and my own children and my personal challenges and stuff, I find that it's helpful for me that you guys are so supportive. I appreciate that. And I wanted to just take a minute and thank you for doing exactly that for me. All of you guys take the time out of your lives to spend a minute or two, or even sometimes hours with me sometimes. So I wanted to, put a shout out to all of my viewers and my audience that takes the time to say anything kind to me, that tries to encourage me, trying to encourage me to keep my head up and stuff. So I appreciate all of you guys. And I wanted to, start off by saying that, because the last live we did, it was kind of a little bit depressing, let's just say. And as much as I'd like to think and sort of trick myself to think that I have dealt with all of this, due to everything happening so recently again, as in 2017's Christmas, we hadn't talked for a couple of years before that. And then we got into 2018 not wanting any kind of a relationship again. So I tried to, I guess, kind of ignore it. I went through the holidays with you guys versus, spending anything with my family and stuff. And I think that bottom line, in my heart, it ultimately still bugs me. And I don't think it's a hurt that's ever going to go away, because it involves my own children now. If it was just something between me and my parents, I think I'd at 40 years old, you guys, I think I'd be able to be like, okay, I wash my hands of this kind of thing. But the fact that it's still involving my own children and it's with them, it's what's creating, I think, for this to constantly come up. As much as I'd like to think that I have dealt with all of it, a lot of it still bothers me. It's almost as if they saw how well and happy I was doing, and how I was going about my life with YouTube and work and being healthy and not really having a sort of a care in the world, and having to let some things go that were really near and dear to my heart and soul, such as my children. So I think when some people pop on that know me from my past, they're like, holy crap, like, why is she so freaking happy? And like, how come she's not just loathing and depression and can't get herself out of her whatever? So I think that ultimately they saw that they were triggered a little bit, and they thought they'd come back into my life again and sort of attempt to wreak havoc. And as much as I allowed it for a little while, we're going to move on. Like, I really don't have any other choice about it right now. So I just want to tell you all how much I love you and appreciate that you listen and that you're there for me. Many of you contact me offline. We communicate via email. Some of us have talked on the phone. It's a pretty consistent and regular sort of support that I have from you guys. So I thought, you know what? I can't just get on here and be all like, down and depressed about what's going on in my life. I need to also pick myself up and not live there. I need to live by what I say. And I need you guys to see, how much empowerment can come from that. And maybe we can support each other, and there's something you're going through that you can relate with me, and we can, uplift each other and get through all of this together. In my opinion, if we can do that, we're going to find happiness. Like, there's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We're going to find happiness. So I'm excited for, the rest of this year together with you guys, and we're going to stay positive. But I appreciate you being here with me throughout the negative and throughout the down times. It's nowhere that I want to live, though. So let's move on, sorry, you guys. Hey, Clary, honey. I don't think we got all of it, the amount and the truth. Cal Hendricks, I totally agree with you. I really don't think that we got all of the information, which is fine. Like, I don't expect them to completely lay out all their cards on the table, as much as the public is still kind of like, what's going on with this? Like, is there anybody else that's guilty? And is there anything else that we're missing here? Because from what we can see, it seems like there is, right? So if we can see that as a public, you can imagine what they can see on the inside and what they've even had access to, based on the warrants and whatnot for GPS coordinates and whatever, right? We appreciate you and your perspective and everything you've been through. You give great advice. Thank you, Kara. I really appreciate that, hun. Hey, Loney, how are you, hun? I look very pretty. You're very sweet. Well, if you guys enjoy spending time with me here, throw up a like. I appreciate the support. If you're new, don't forget to say hello. And don't forget to subscribe, because I'd love to see more of you. Okay, so how many of you are perhaps thinking that we didn't get all the information that CBI actually went to, recover from Chris as a quadruple interview, right? I'm sure you think he's been through like 4 now. I suspect that this one won't even be the last one that we hear from. You're so sweet. Thanks, Clary. So I wanted to play a little bit of the tape from that exact interview, guys. So take a listen to this.
I don't remember if it was like dug a hole there first, or they didn't watch me do that. Okay. So then pull Shanann out, she's maybe just sitting there on top of the ground. Yeah, like off to the side, close to where she ended up. Oh, yeah, okay. All right. And then the girls, right? Okay. You mentioned Bella was first. Cece is first, okay. Where exactly was she when it happened? In the back. Okay, was she just right next to Bella? Okay. So once again, was it the hand over her face? Was a blanket over and my hand in your hand? Okay. And then, so that just stopped her from breathing type thing. Okay. Did she struggle at all?
like one hand here and one hand over her mouth.
And we're just pushing her against the back of the seat type thing. Okay. What was Bella doing? Sitting there next to her. She didn't know what was going on. Okay. Could she see you? Okay. And then did that say?
Okay, so that short clip, you guys, about a minute long, I played for you. You can hear the officer ask Chris Watts how the girls died. And he proceeds to say, I put a blanket on and then I put my hand over top. So, and then the officer asks, and that was to stop them from breathing. You can hear Chris, saying yes. And, they're reconfirming, okay, so you had your hand here and you had your hand here. It's very obvious that they are desperately trying to get some more details out of him about this. And the way that he's describing it is so against the grid of what the coroner had decided and told us that something isn't adding up here, right? No, it just really doesn't make any sense. Hello, Carol. No, I don't think that we did, folks. And I think there's big reasons for that. And I think that we're going to be getting some more information soon. I definitely think, hi, Chica. I definitely think that we did not get everything that was disclosed in that meeting. We got some of it, but not all of it. Claire says he gives details on so much, but he can't describe in detail with the girls. Oh, you're talking to what's up? Yeah, that's so true, though. The autopsies say they were smothered, but there were no fiber found on the girls. If they were killed by being smothered, the girls' blankets, there would have been fibers found. Exactly. Because if you put a blanket, no matter how small those fibers are, there's going to be fibers up in the nostrils, up in your throat, and perhaps even in the lungs. Hello, Stephanie Herb. I think someone else killed Bella. It's interesting, that she actually witnessed all of what had happened to her sister and her mother. Apparently, even from dragging her out of the house, Bella knew right from the get-go, it seems, that something was wrong. Even when she asked her father, what's wrong with my mom? What's wrong with mommy? And he was like, oh, she's just sick. I mean, she wasn't even moving. She wasn't talking. She probably didn't look the right color. I can't even imagine what was going through that poor little girl's mind. Good evening from Scotland, UK. Nice. You don't think he was being 100% honest? He definitely sugarcoated it and held back a lot of truthful info. I agree, Cal Hendricks. Hello, Christina, 64. Yes, I think more will come out. Yes, fibers would be on them, more than one. Absolutely, especially a blanket over top of pressure of a hand that's kind of smushing that blanket into the face. There's no way that it would not have had some findings. Do any of you guys think it's possible that we may have to get the bodies exhumed of the girls to re-autopsy them before everything, decays too poorly and they can't find it or see anything or whatever? I'm hopeful that that's not something that's going to happen, but I'm worried that that's something that's going to happen. And I feel like it's just going to be, more trauma for the Ruziks, but I wonder, I feel like we should be taking almost a second look at this, as sad as that is to do, in order to be 100% sure. I think that it's almost, it's almost a must. I don't know. What do you guys think? You tell me. If the Ocean had honest, if the detectives just wanted a routine interview, they would have done a phone or video interview, something more to all of this, I think. I agree, Ocean. I agree. I think we're on to something here. And I think they are onto something here. I just think, you know, it's going to be, it's going to come to a point where they're going to have to verify something. And I fear that that's going to have to happen by exhuming the bodies, you know. I believe the bodies have to be exhumed to find more. Yeah. It's very possible, especially if they're looking to convict another person. Very much so, right? I think they're going to absolutely have to have some kind of concrete evidence. Half Rudder says maybe they need to autopsy again. That is where I'm leaning towards. I feel like it's something that's going to eventually come to confront the Ruzick family in order to seek permission to do such a thing, right? Answers helps with closure. That is true, yes. Elaine Williams, welcome. He said the girls were blue, ? But then said he put them in the tanks immediately after killing them. I don't recall where he may have said that, but I'm actually re-listening to the interview again just to kind of get a secondary feel of the background, you know? Hello, Gina Rivas. Miss Coley, the girls are buried in some type of cement before a coffin. I don't think it's cement, but I believe that there was a special seal that had to be put onto the coffin in order for none of the gases to emanate from the coffin itself, you know, to affect the ground or anything like that. Clary says, I think Shanann's mom is very down to earth and aware, and I think she would be glad for more truth than to have an ounce of doubt. Yes, yeah, that's very true. Nicole Kessinger should take a lie detector test. Veronica Ram says, I agree with that. And it's quite suspicious when you're trying to act like you're coming forward with information on a guy that supposedly killed his family and you want to come clean and be honest about it, yet you've deleted things off your phone. You're showing up with your attorney and they're kind of almost dictating the way that the questions go from the officers. You know, that was very obvious in one of her interviews. Jill Gilio. I just joined, so can you please quickly recap or restate if you think there was an accomplice? It'll take a bit for YouTube to re-air your live. Well, I believe when you click on, you can actually just use the little red line and scroll back, and you're able to rehear anything and everything you would like. We've only been talking for about 18 minutes, and this is a debate conversation for sure. Hey, Chica. He had several gaps in his story as to how he got rid of Shanann's body and buried her. You know, he states in his interview that he had drug her, you know, from down the stairs in the house and placed her into the back of the truck. He put a bag over her head. He put a bag over her feet so that the girls didn't supposedly have to look at her, is his reasoning. And, you know, he proceeded to drive for 45 minutes, contemplating on whether or not he could save his daughter's lives. I'm a little confused, you know? What do you mean save your daughter's lives? You know what I mean? Like, I wish that they would have asked that even. I wish that when he said that and reiterated that to them, that they were like, sorry, what does that mean? You know? Why didn't the police ask Chris why Nicole Kester's phone pinged in Frederick that day? I don't think Mandy Godbold, I don't think they're going to be able to ask Chris about something about Nicole Kessinger. You know, they need to get some evidence and not just assume that he would know why she's, you know, in Frederick at all, right? Money, I am not sure. Chris Watts slept with Shanann the night she came home from the trip. He rejected her the whole time. I'm thinking if not, maybe NK was at the basement. Well, and then we have the photo of the, you know, the pink or purple eye mask, right? It's the mask that helps darken the room and stuff. It makes you wonder if, you know, she wasn't sleeping over sometimes or wasn't there somehow. But like, we can't negate also the fact that they had, you know, this 111-minute conversation, right? You're so gorgeous, Clary. Holy. Seriously, honey. Beautiful. Well, Chica, did you want to have a wrench, girl? I don't want to overwhelm you, but if you feel that you can handle it, I can wrench if you need. I'm trustworthy. Oops. There you go, honey. Gigi, Chardon, Veronica, Krams, maybe. Why can't she take a lie detector test, especially because she had something to do with Chris? She was his mistress in family murder. Should be investigated to the fullest extent. Yes, I agree with you, Veronica. Amy Ferguson wants a wrench too. Oh man. I messaged earlier, but I had to feed my parrot. Did you see it? Maybe I forgot to hit send. He was busy digging. I believe someone else did the go. Purple Rain says. Did the girls? Is that what you meant? Okay. Mod for Brian McFarlane. Okay, well let me. I don't want to have too many. You know, I've got 4 now. You know, I don't know. We'll see, Amy. Well, I believe that we did not actually get all of the interview that CBI had gone out to do with Chris Watts. You know, I do believe that Chris Watts had no idea that they were coming. I mean, none whatsoever. He was literally in his cell 1 minute, and the next minute, a corrections officer is telling him, you know, you have a visitor, and pulling him from his cell and bringing him to the common room for exactly that. Hey, Lisa Rayner, how are you? Is it true that NK was in the witness protection program? No, it was not true. I believe that was a myth from the get-go. Other people were saying that she was damage controlling. She was contacting creators to tell them to stop sharing. She was threatening lawsuits, all kinds of stuff, you guys. None of that has ever happened to me. So I don't think that any of it is necessarily true, you know? I read somewhere. Hi, Tina Kelly. Hello, Sean. Hello, April Charon. Why was the sheet left out there at that oil field like that? You know, I honestly believe that, you know, the wind potentially carried that a little bit. You know, I do still, you know that Shanann was under part of that, you guys. I mean, if Nicole Kessinger was at the house that night, that is why the sheets were in the trash, because if he had sex with NK, could have got DNA on from the sheets. Well, yeah, who knows if there was any kind of sexual activity that happened with Nicole Kessinger and Chris Watts in Shanann's bed, you know, prior to her getting home, right? Could she have been there? Could that have happened? Gotta go, Tambra? Okay, hon. Have a great day. Stay safe. Somebody said they like my shirt. Thank you very much. I'm going to go and grab a coffee quick. I'll be right back. Sorry about that, guys. Absolutely nothing in the system about NK anymore. And that outs like she vanished from this world, I heard. No, I don't believe that at all. I know that CBI is in contact with her. So that's not true at all. And we know that because they were asking Chris if there was any type of a message that they wanted them to tell Nicole. So that's not true, in my opinion. Did you see the court papers Chris had? He and Shanann were to appear. Yes, I did see that before the family court on August 24th, right? I don't know if it was divorce, though. I think it's possible that we could perhaps get that kind of information if we were to contact that family court system for public record access. But, you know, there's a process to it, you know. Can I? Oh, never mind. I don't want to. Never mind. Put you on the spot. Hello, salut, Yvette. Exactly my thoughts. Miss Coley. Court appearance was about money owed to the homeowners association. See, and I did hear that because they were behind on their mortgage, that was perhaps what that was, but it doesn't make sense that was in family court. Like, homeowners association and not paying your bills is not family court. That's two different things. So that's not possible. Hola, Laura. Hello. Sorry I'm late. The kids have been a handful today, but I'm here now. You're so sweet. You know, we've got some amazing people around the world that team up here on my channel, and we come together, you know, to provide a really awesome, non-bullying, non-judgmental, everybody can speak their mind type of platform here. And I hope that all of you are encouraged by that you know that you have the opportunity here to share and say whatever it is you want. You know, even if you aren't fully, maybe you're for Chris, or maybe you're against Shanann, or whatever. You're able to express your thoughts in regards to certain things. I don't want it to just be about putting somebody down or, you know, degrading somebody. That's not what this is about. But what you are allowed to do here is speak your mind about whatever it is that you think and feel. And nobody's going to, you know, kick you out or attack you or whatever happens on other channels. So I welcome all of you guys sharing your thoughts and opinions and stuff. I think Chris Watts killed Shanann Watts during sex. On fire. Thanks, Jeremy. You're cute. Thanks. There was semen found on the bed sheets. Was there semen found on the bed sheets, right? We have to remember that we did not get all of the information that was put into those documents that was released to the public either. I mean, the FBI and the CBI are not going to lay out their hands as far as what they've got and what they think, you know, especially if they still have what we all consider to be kind of an ongoing investigation in a way. I mean, they clearly can hear what the public has noticed. You could hear by even the questions that was being asked from, CBI, that it was very much generated almost from the public, that's what we were concerned with. And they brought those things to Chris to get some clarification, which in turn ended up giving us more questions. And did we get all of it, right? Half Rudder, you and AD are the best. Yeah, I messaged him actually recently to ask him if he wanted to do another, a discussion together about the Chris Watts case, because he's got so many good videos on the shadow situation. It's very obvious, what was sort of happening in a sense. And it's commendable that he's found that, I thought that was really, really awesome, When I had taken out all the extra feeds in that CCTV cam footage from Nate, the neighbor, I personally saw that myself and noticed how long, he took to sort of round everybody up in a sense, Excuse me, pardon me. I think they should have done a drug test on Chris Watts. He was so full of rage, it could be through drugs. But regardless, Loney, even if he was on a bunch of drugs, that's still not okay, right? Hello, Shanna B. Who's Nora Ray? Is that another YouTube watcher right now? Rebel Girl. Maybe he met kill himself instead. I think he or she meant might. Elaine Stephanie, I think it was on the comforter. Oh, there is a Nora Ray here. Okay. He wouldn't want to admit. Thank you, Mandara Drew. He wouldn't want to admit that he did it during sex because that changes the elements of the crime and proves it was premeditated. I think I think we've already sort of proved a bit of premeditation in the fact that he met with Troy McCoy and Roberts called McCoy's phone to tell him, like, hey, there's a leak at the Survey site, and Chris overheard it all. The girls were sitting in the back seat of the Lexus when that all went down in the Safeway parking lot. So there's no way that he wasn't sort of thinking about this. For how long? Who the heck knows? I believe that he started thinking about it fairly early on in his affair with Nicole Kessinger. And who knows what they've all discussed between the two of them on the side as to whether or not it would be a good idea to annihilate the family or whatever, So I'm not really sure that would totally change all of the elements of that, His confession alone about what he did to his wife, it seems pretty accurate, but it would have been nice to, see all of this investigation in order for us to really know everything, Yeah, apparently that Tinder lady, according to Chris, is not true also. But what can we believe in all of what he's saying anyways? How much can we believe of what all he's saying, Busy bee, mommy 75, narcissists always lie. Well, I definitely think he's going to be talking again, and the more that this guy talks, the more that he's going to end up saying, and the more information we're going to get from that, I think, It was pretty obvious that he didn't have all of his details in order as soon as he got to details involving Nicole, details involving the kids, and details involving the murder around the kids. I do not know that language, so we're just gonna remove that. I think the 111-minute phone call was no convo. She called from her house. He answered at his house. They laid the phones down and just let him run. Looks like he was at her house. Looks like she was at her house. Right. That's a really good analogy, Lisa Avery. And it's very possible, right? It's plausible. Chris Watts had a plan from at least July. I believe that this is something that's crossed his mind, and he just was, this was leading up to the finale when it all went down on August 13th. You know what I mean? I believe that Shanann came home and it was, nearly 2:00 in the morning, and they certainly did have a discussion that went, probably a little bit loud, and I'm sure that they, spent some time being mean towards each other or whatever, but it sounds like, according to his account this time, they made up for a short time and then turned around and had a secondary fight that he initiated getting on top of her during. Excuse me. Right on, Chica. She's on it. That's awesome. Hidden that user sharing. That's the third attempt to send the same kind of. I have no idea what the heck. I just removed it, but you want me to hide the person, or you already did? I don't think he had sex with Shanann. No, Yvette. I could see, her kind of testing him and seeing if that was something that was going to happen. But then again, if they were having, an emotional discussion, how much could it have gotten into sexuality in that moment? Let's remember that, he was up at like what, 4:30 in the morning, supposedly, to get ready for work. And that's when they had their secondary discussion. He didn't call the school then. So devastating to hear the baby's sitting. A person who was wrapped up bags. Could not speak for one day. Yeah, I hear you, Lonnie. Totally crushing to hear. No, I think that was to make it believe Nicole wasn't there. Well, how many of you think that she was there on August 13th and, she was just sitting in the basement, hanging out and sleeping there, maybe perhaps over the weekend due to Shanann not being, even in Colorado? You don't buy the sex part, Half Rudder? It does seem a little bit close timeline-wise. We're talking about 2:00 in the morning to like, I don't know, between 4 and 5 max. So I don't know, how much of what he's saying is totally authentic, right? Autopsy didn't say about semen or sex intercourse. The autopsy did not state anything about Shanann for that. No, it didn't. That's true. Not testing him. This woman was distraught. Look at the text she was sending. Not testing him. Yeah, I don't know, because there was so much distance between them and she could feel that he didn't really love her anymore, or something was really wrong in their relationship, the way he says, right? She was testing me, I think. And then they ended up supposedly having sex, But I mean, this would have all had to happen. All of this, the 2 fights and the sexual intercourse and Bella waking up and hearing things, all within like a 2 to 3 hour period, which would mean there was no sleeping that was going on. So I don't know, right? They didn't have sex at all in North Carolina, did they? I don't think so, no. But I don't know. Like, I mean, we can't really say, right? We don't really know. But she was basically stating in her text messages to her friends that he was being really distant and he wasn't really being receptive of her. And she had to ask him for a kiss at the airport and stuff, or a hug and stuff. Like, he was very, obvious in his body language towards her that he was moving on. In a sense, she knew something was wrong. This is what she was telling her friends. Yeah, the woman loved him for sure with all her heart. Absolutely. You could tell that she was just panicked about everything, even in the one photo that she sent to her friend, showing her how much, she was just sad and puffy-eyed. And like, I can relate to that when I've been crying all night long. Where did this thing with the cab come from? His confession or what? No, there was supposedly a charge for a cab, a taxi. Lobby Lou, she wasn't feeling well, wasn't eating and drinking, plus worry of their impending separation, having to face him, no sex. Yeah, I don't think that Chris Watts is being truthful with everything that he's telling us. And that's probably because there is something else that's happened, that someone else is involved that's helped him. And, at this point, I believe that he is completely trying to protect whoever that is. And there is going to be some more information that comes from all of this, Hello, Anthony Mazzetti. Hello, 341 at MSN. Whose small truck was parked across the street? That lady next door saw the truck. Nicole does have a gray Ford Runner truck. Yes. I'm not sure. No NK was there. I am sure NK Watts family knew about Chris's plan to shut their mouths and let it happen. Interesting perspective there, Busy Bee Mommy. Wasn't a test. That woman loved him with all her damn heart. That's why I think he killed her during sex. I don't know how true it is, right? I mean, I think there's going to have to be a little bit more disclosure from the authorities in order for us to get some better answers here. Lisa Bennett. Hello, hello. Hello, 24-hour crime. Ay. Yvette Noel, I don't think there was. Knowing that Shanann was arriving home. It's a very short timeline, that's for sure. Devlin, why ain't auditors not audit in the police department live? I got to have permission to audit them. What? I'm sorry, what? Why ain't auditors not audit? Good. It's too nice to meet you as Pink Bows YouTuber. I'm sorry. Thank you for the pink bows. Court date for the HOA money owed that Shanann Watts was sending to the wrong address. I did hear about that there was something there was payment that was going to the wrong address, perhaps after they had moved. Now, yeah, we did it, missionary. I remember that. He's too graphic in detail. Hello, sister. Kara, if NK was there and Chris Watts had sex with Shanann, K wouldn't have liked that. I would have said something. But would she have known necessarily? Imagine if Nicole Kessinger was in the basement and Chris Watts was on the third floor with, away from her, right? Because you got your main level and you're upstairs and then your little attic space there. So, I mean, you can imagine that she may not have even heard something like that happening, right? You haven't finished because he killed her. There was no semen. I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting for sure. Rebel girl, no, I met instead of killing girls. I choked her while on top of her. Yeah, that's Cindy, boy. Yeah, definitely kind of a little bit of a piece of work there. One spring, two spring. Pinus. Okay, then. Are you trying to say something else and you just didn't know how to spell it? Why do you think Chris wants having sex with Shannon before me? He said he was making pressure him not to do so. Do you guys remember that in one of her interviews, she was telling the officer about how they had an argument about Shanann's pregnancy because Chris was trying to say to Nicole that it wasn't his baby, you know, and like basically like I have not been sleeping with my wife and it's not my child and whatever. Are we okay is what he kept kind of trying to make sure of. And you know, she supposedly, you know, comforted him and let him know that that was not going to be, you know, their relationship was going to be fine, it's fine kind of thing or whatever, you know. This is a very true story. Yes, Christina, very much. Killed her during sex, didn't have no kind of talk. I think that they definitely did have an argument. I think that, you know, I think it actually probably came out that he had somebody else, you know, and you know, he was trying to probably protect himself and berate himself behind her a little bit by saying, I have met somebody else that I really care about, whatever. And then that was just not going to happen, not going to fly, you know? Can't believe CBI didn't ask Chris about the clarification about the doll picture when they went to see him in prison. I believe that we, in all honesty, do not have all of the information from the CBI interview with Chris Watts at the prison in Wisconsin. I believe that, you know, there's more to that and there's things that are edited out before it was released to the public. Gigi's. Yeah, I think when NK and Chris sent me they had sex in basement. Stayed some nights with him when family was in North Carolina. Yeah, you know, he states, you know, and we don't know how true everything is that he's saying, right? But he states that he was at her house and he wasn't even at home, you know, which is, it just seems like a little bit like that doesn't really add up either. Otherwise, the house would have probably been completely destroyed from the dog because the dog needs to be let out for its bathroom breaks and whatever else. So, and I mean, as far as we could see in the body cam footage, there was no mess of poop all over the basement. There was no like dog mess anywhere in that house. So did he bring Dieter with him or what? You know, like I had to leave to help mom with something. Excuse me. He was having sex with NK 5 times a day. He might have been too tired to have sex with Shanann. Elaine Williams, you're funny. I don't know if that even happens for men. Since his part of the case is closed, I think asking about the doll pic would have served no purpose at all. I agree. It would have been nice to kind of hear what the reasoning was, but in all honesty, I think we can kind of see what his reasoning was by the fact that he was sending that to her quietly with no words. And then what happened, you know, a week later, it was obvious to the people who were seeing it from the outside, you know. Stepping away for a moment. Okay, Chica. Right. I figured, Miss Coley, that was there was something off by that. But yeah, no, I think that Chris was trying to kind of be faithful, but I think he was trying to juggle two women is what I think too, and that really wasn't working, and he was being found out. And you know, my opinion, he speaks too graphically about being on top of her, seeing her eyes, and he mentions missionary. She died during sex. Well, that's very plausible for sure, right? I mean, if there's anybody in the world that's ever experienced stuff like that, you know, I guess it's pretty easy to let it go that far. I personally have never experienced something like that. It's always kind of freaked me out. So it's not something that I really have any personal knowledge on. But we can certainly talk about it and discuss it, you know. He was waiting for her the second Shanann walked in. Armchair detective showed the shadow on the porch. I did see the shadow in the window, but let's remember that Shanann Watts was in mom mode. I mean, mom mode meaning as she was walking up to the house, it looked like she was checking her phone to make sure that the girls were okay in a sense. And as she entered in the door, picked up her suitcase, I believe that when she closed that door, she switched that lock up. And that was the little shadow. It wasn't like a whole person. It was just like a small arm shadow, which in my opinion was probably her just flipping up that lock. But I mean, that's my go at that, you know. They know more than we do. Yeah, I believe that 100% half redder. Yeah. Why should NK be in the basement while the girls were home? Yeah, Yvette, you know, honestly, like, on sait pas. on ne sait pas. Good day, Selkie Chi. Hello, hello, welcome. I think that the motherboard of the surveillance caught it all, if not on video, audio. I definitely don't think that that is something that Chris Watts would have been able to turn off himself. You know what I mean? And I do believe that safety feature wise on a lot of recordings, when commotion is happening is when the recording is usually started. I would love to see Chris Watts and NK under cross-examination. It would have been nice, but I mean, at the same time, it's almost bittersweet, right? Had we have gone full-fledged onto the trial, it would have prolonged all of, you know, just even getting to the sentencing for the Ruzick family, which, you know, it in turn would have almost been kind of damaging again to the victim. You know what I mean? And I think that Chris kind of realized the severity of everything. And of course, he saw the evidence that was against him. And there was just no way that he was going to be able to win this on an account of insanity or any other way. So he just took that plea deal in order to not have the death penalty. And we know that by the fact that even he was saying in his early interview before they had found the girls that you know, that the death penalty was something that was on available in Colorado, you know, and he didn't know if that would be some kind of a punishment warranted for whoever did this to his family and stuff. So I mean, you know, he was already clearly kind of pre-thinking about this. He's the one that brought it up. Was when the officer asked him, well, so what do you think the punishment should be for the person who did this to your family, you know? You know, he was stating like, well, I don't know, is the death penalty still on the table? And you know, he was going into conversation about it, right? Yeah, her phone, Nicole Kessinger's phone pinged in Frederick at 6:13 a.m. I believe it was. I am everywhere. Hello. He says she was watching him and he questions himself. Did I know I was going to do it before I got on top of her? Yeah. I think that's because he's justifying the fact that he thought about doing this to his family before it was actually happening. And perhaps he even envisioned what it would be like to do it. And, and then when he found himself in that moment, he was almost seemed to be describing it as an out of body experience, that he could see what he was doing to his wife, but yet he couldn't seem to relinquish control of whatever was happening to him to stop what he was doing to her, It's a little nugget of truth people will miss. Yeah, they locked Dieter up supposedly, but he was running around the house when Nicole Kessinger showed up. Pillow talk can be pretty lurid. I think that Chris Watts moved slowly towards the end result over weeks with Shanann, while Shanann was in North Carolina. I believe that he mulled this over. He thought about this. I don't think that he was sure whether or not he could follow through with any of it until it was actually happening, and he couldn't even seem to stop it, Lisa, cab theory makes sense. Lisa, I missed what cab theory. Who did you say what theory it is that you're talking about, or somebody else? Hello, Hua. The way he talked about God was strange, I think. Yeah, I think that that's something that's in a little bit of both sides, right? I don't think that the Watts family is practicing, but I believe that they, have some kind of a knowledge of a higher power, GL as in what? As in the one person? Oh, never mind. He'll be nice. Licks my wrench. Yeah, no doubt. That's why you have to ask for a lawyer. Why ain't anybody's suggestion is on this show? There's people railroaded in this country and the court systems. Did the plea come to save Shanann's family grief or to save NK? Well, that's a really good question, Lisa. I believe it's a little bit of both. I believe that Chris was able to kind of get, two birds with one stone with that kind of thing, as they say. He was able to avoid the grief from the family, and he was able to protect Nicole at the same time. And that was created by this, right? And I mean, if only good dogs could talk, no doubt. Thanks for the likes, folks. I truly appreciate the support. That's awesome. The cadaver dogs did pick up the scent, but it was not from the basement that I'm aware of. I'm aware of them picking up from that scent from the upper level, but losing it in the garage. Hello, Tammy. It's because he actually going through a thought process right there. He wouldn't be able to retell that part if he never thought it. Yes, that's a little bit true there too, Clary. He's so basic in the way he retells things. That's the clue. Lisa, I thought dogs picked up under the bed. I was thinking perhaps Bella hid under the bed. Selkie Chi at Lisa, because he pleaded guilty, there was no further in-depth investigation. Yes, that's very true. Selkie Chi, the investigation was basically, completely halted. All forensic testing stopped. We have, NK's a liar. She knew about the pregnancy. Absolutely knew about the pregnancy. Gone, my Sherry? What? He's trying to get a story straight. Well, you know what? Half rudder, that seems to be true on the certain parts of his story, such as, and it's the same thing for Nicole Kessinger, if you notice. You know, she's really good at talking about all of her details up until you're talking about like kind of that night and exactly what happened and where she was. And she's just like, Jim, leave him alone though. Yeah. I did see the financial situation a little bit. It was nothing that I really wanted to disclose, but it was obvious that they were, you know, in trouble. There was a lot of credit card debt. There was a lot of debt, period. You know what I mean? Between the mortgage and the move and the medications and the school and, you know, her MLM business, a lot of bills, you know, which like, you know, I've said this before, you guys, like if the two of them were collectively bringing in close to 140K, it should have been enough to pay for all of those things too, though. So it's a little confusing as to, you know, why there was so much debt and why there wasn't things that were sort of paid down or whatever, you know. Yeah, there was definitely medical bills for sure. Bobby Foster, look, Lobby Lou, the book was under the bed. Purple Rain is back. Lisa, that's okay. He wasn't lying about sex or missionary. She was watching him while he was on top of her. I couldn't remember that. What he said to Bella before he killed her. Yet he states that he can also remember, he also can hear her every night saying, "No, Daddy, don't. Please don't do to me, you know, what you did to Cece." God, my Sherry was about the troll talking about MGL and typing nonsense. Okay. Maybe she spent a lot on Thrive. I'm sure, because my own experience in MLM businesses, you really do have to put your profits sort of back into it. You really do need to maintain having products available as well. I know from the Party Light experience that I had, I was selling Party Light for like almost a couple of years, almost. And in all honesty, you guys, like I had so many different products because they were available at such a low price for me. But that created for a lot of my profit to just be put right back into the business. You know what I mean? Which is a regular thing. I mean, that's a regular thing for any business. You have to replenish, you have to reorder, you have to keep in stock. You know what I mean? But you got to know your stuff too. If all you're doing is purchasing, and you're not actually selling, it might be something, you know, that's not as lucrative as somebody who is selling out all of their stock repeatedly. You know what I mean? If you're giving it away, then you have to replenish that, you know, and somebody's paying for it, whether that's somebody that's ordering from you and you're getting a percentage for that person making an order, or if you're the one that's putting it in, you know, from your own pocket kind of thing. Thank you, Chica Chilled. I'm not sure what that was. I'm just going to check it. Do I have muscular calves? Yeah, a little bit. Nothing crazy, but yeah. Side effects from Thrive are anxiety and depression. Well, you know, I don't know how much effect all of those products had on them. And, you know, we probably will never know that based on not having complete information even about that product, right? I mean, even the forensic testing that was happening about that, we never got it. Why? Because we probably will see something, you know, that's going to end up being detrimental perhaps to that company. And then what, right? Then that company has every right to go ahead and sue the county for, you know, crushing them in a sense. Yeah, the never ending sending out of free samples is definitely going to cost money, you know. Yeah, you're doing great, Chica. That's awesome. How is it? Oh, so she's talking to Clary. How is it that he sleeps with his wife? Discussions with about him having an affair and then killing her. Told her why. Doing sex that he had an affair. I don't know about that, Loney. I don't know. Didn't know that people say that it makes you feel good. Yeah, I have no idea what's all even in those products, but it was a little bit concerning in a sense that the FBI was requesting packages to forensically test, you know. Excuse me. Sydney, well, thanks. You're funny. Pillow talk is boring. Holy. Lisa. I just got a marriage proposal. All right, like, no. Ay. Get in line, sweetheart. Chica's already married, but she's just like, I've seen this before. Too funny. Was NK making his meals or just planning them? Who knows? Anyone have any thoughts on the letter found at Chris's parents' place? There was, this disclosed letter that basically had, a short little blurb about whether or not anything bad were to ever happen to him to please, investigate his wife. I don't know. I think that it's probably really easy to create something like that after the fact, but, and it really wouldn't have been that difficult. But who knows? Do we have a sample of Ronnie Watts's writing? Could it have been him that wrote the letter and he has similar writing to Chris's? Yeah, there was a letter that came from the Watts family home stating that it was found, after Chris Watts went to jail, stating that if anything bad ever happened to him, this letter was dated, I believe it was August 2018. I don't know. I think it might have been the 10th, to be honest. I don't know, but I might just be mixing that up. Regardless, the point is that this letter shows up from the Watts family home, supposedly written by Chris, and stating that if anything horrible ever happened to him, to please contact and investigate his wife, Now we don't know if someone else created the letter and signed it, as Chris or what, you know what I mean? That would literally have to go through forensic testing in order to be able to see if that was plausible, or if that, if it was anybody else that could have wrote that letter, or was it solely Chris, Yeah, you have to try a lot harder. No doubt. Sherry Purple Rain asked, was NK preparing his meals or just discussing them? Yeah, I think she was discussing the meals with the officers, and she was telling them about his eating habits or whatever. Whether or not she was actually planning all of this, I have no idea. I don't know. I think she may have been like playing with his head and, put these kind of heinous thoughts in his mind in a sense. Yeah, I thought it was like 3 days before the murder. I could have swore I saw 8/10/18. I'm pretty sure that that's what I saw. Carrie Calderon, the letter was just so he could have something on his side to look good for him. I think that the letter could have very easily been fabricated by his own father. Purple Rain, I highly recommend hitting up a dentist because you're going to need to get that probably extracted eventually, unless it's so far in that it's not bothering him. But I don't know. You could, once it's cracked and left up in there, you could actually leave, you know, food will get stuck in there. And I would go see a dentist if I were you. Sounds like Chris wants CYA premeditation. Supposing that meal. Okay, I was monitoring for Chris Watts' oversight at the Watts home that day. It's called Inferno. Few calories. Thank you for addressing that, Sherry. I've been wondering about that authenticity of the letter myself. Yeah, exactly, Mandy. No, MGL sister, if he would have sent that letter from jail, it would have already been monitored and probably a copy of it taken for his file and stuff. Like they don't just take it and send stuff out and whatever. They monitor everything that's incoming and outgoing. So, and that's every jail, everywhere, as far as I know. Down some gauze. Yeah, bite down on some gauze. Yeah, but definitely you probably want to get it extracted. You're not going to want to leave that in there. NK has to be involved, Brian says. She probably told him where to dump the bodies, considering she worked with him and she was Googling about Scott Peterson's mistress. It was her planning this out from day one. I believe that she definitely gave him sort of some forethought into this, and her insinuation on, well, I really want to start my own family and I want to have my own fresh beginning and I want my own husband. You know what I mean? I think that the insinuation and the underlying tone of what she was meaning was very much understood and there. And, they were twistedly on the same page, in my opinion. She was kind of flirting with the officers. I noticed that, but I don't think that they were falling for it. You know what I mean? I think they were just being cordial and kind in order to get onto her good side and get this girl talking, and the minute she opened her mouth, it was like lie, like lie, like lie. That's all it was. The letter was written. Hello, Hichiam Razis. I don't know. Sorry. The letter wasn't really addressed. It was just found in the house in an envelope stating like that if anything happened to him to look at his wife first kind of thing, trying to insinuate that it would be her that would hurt him to the point of taking his life. Like, come on, dude. Seriously? I don't understand where they or how they thought that was going to be very believable. A strong woman is one thing. A murderous woman is a completely different thing. And I don't see Shanann as that. I see Shanann a lot like me as a very strong character. Don't mess with me. I know what I want. I'm going to get it. And you're not going to stop me and whatever. You know what I mean? She was the one that wore the pants. That's my same situation. I was always the one that wore the pants in my house, always took care of the bills kind of thing. Always kind of knew what was happening with the finances. You know what I mean? So, but a murderous woman, like, that takes a whole nother load of crazy scruples to go onto that side. It's one thing to maybe think, oh, I am so pissed off, I could just strangle you, to actually freaking doing it and following through and holding that and taking someone's last breath while looking them in the eyes. Like that's very personal and very scary, Yeah, not only just the sign up though, but to get them to place an order or start off in a very small program setup, right? Because they had different levels and stuff of what you wanted to do with these products. So the people that would have signed up and ordered and signed up and started to become a salesperson themselves, yes, those people definitely, she would have been collecting something on those sales and stuff, pyramid, right? So like everybody underneath the person on the top is going to get a little bit of something, Gas cans, letters, lies. Chris Watts is so readable when you stop trying to label him. Yeah, that's true, Clary. Yeah. Don't stand in the way. You're funny, Sheila. Well, when you know what you want, you know what you want. And, she was a woman that knew what she wanted. And, she wanted to have that family. She wanted to bring kids into this life and be a good mom. And she wanted the success of that American dream, and she was working really hard to achieve it, Nothing wrong with that, right, Shanna? It was Shanna, right? Yeah, Shanna. Hello, Sharon. Girl power. Whoop, whoop. His family encouraged him to write it when he went to visit them in North Carolina just before the murders. He told his dad he wanted a separation and that Shanann was going to go crazy. I don't think timeline that would add up. According to the date on the letter, which, again, we don't know who this letter was actually written from. We'd have to get a forensic, pen test person to be able, to verify that the handwriting is indeed Chris Watts's and not perhaps maybe someone else in the family, right? Shanann was planning a beautiful dinner. She was messaging him till late. He wanted for food the next night. Learning, gentlemen, the people in this room do the vetting process on any and all suitors. Very cute. Love it. Very much love it. I'm just going to grab one more coffee here. I got to go to the washroom. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Laura, you're so funny. I hope the tape works on the kids. Too funny. Yeah, mommy and daddy issues are for real. Hey, Chica? Certainly with him as well, you can see it. Learning that some people don't Get my humor sometimes, so I have to say, just kidding. Yeah. Well, and probably it's probably best, eh? I think Chris Watts's mother disliked Shanann because she saw a lot of a strong woman in Shanann, just like, Cindy was for her house. And I think that she didn't like that. She saw that as combative and that, she didn't want to have to respect what the heck this other woman was trying to tell her to do in her own house, which was really sad, you know, especially when we're talking about an allergy to somebody who is, well, I mean, she had an EpiPen and, supposedly anaphylactic allergic to nuts and stuff. So I mean, to go ahead and challenge that is pretty rude. I don't really I was shocked to read about all of that. I think you guys remember my reaction, hey? Watt's parents also obviously knew about the affairs, obviously totally approved of it. That was evident in the phone records of NK because she called the Watts parents. It's unfortunate. I think that it probably only would have been a matter of time before they didn't like, Nicole either. And they were probably causing more issues there too. You know what I mean? I believe his mom may have conveyed stuff to him that stuck in his head and later would have led to this tragedy, no matter mistress or not, after reading a lot about people who commit feminicide. I don't think that Chris would have been somebody who would have fallen into that category. I think if his mistress had not have come around and, created for what appeared to be a perfectly content and happy life doing everything he wanted to do, I don't think that he would have had this thought in his mind that I'm going to kill my family, I'm going to get rid of everybody so that I can go and have this life. I mean, who thinks like that? You know what I mean? No respect for not only Cindy's insensitiveness, but her exposing her grandchildren to possible death. I mean, for all honesty, right? Like, for crying out loud, Miss Coley, I absolutely agree with you. I feel like, I mean, Shanann was completely within her right to be like, listen, I'm not going back over there. If the entire Watts family is going to be ganging up on me and putting out bowls of peanuts on the table and bringing out ice cream so that everybody else can have it, just because Bella could have it doesn't mean that Cece is going to understand that she can't. You know what I mean? So therefore, Shanann was just making it fair by saying nobody can have any freaking, peanut filled ice cream of any kind. And due to her sort of, stating that if she was going to be coming over and they were going to be spending this time together, that there couldn't be some certain things, and to please clean out your house of all peanuts so that we can safely come over and we won't have any kind of an accident incident happen, right? And it just seemed like, yeah, like, Cindy just combated that. Like, what? I can't have what in my house? I'm going to go and buy more and put out a whole bowl full of it. And the whole house is going to be strung up in nuts. I mean, for real. It's kind of like the, the underlying message of I don't give a crap and they're going to be in my house regardless of what you've requested and asked. And, I don't care what you think and I don't care what you want and I don't care what you say. And it's not happening in my house. My house is the way it's going to be in my house. And that's the kind of message that I kind of got from Cindy herself in all of that, and poor Shanann was just like, I'm not going back over there. Like they can go fuck themselves. Like, I'm not going back over there, and she was just really much anxiously angry towards it all and was kind of like desperately seeking for Chris to iron this out and to advise them how serious this was and how much of an insult it also was. And that they don't need that extra kind of stress. They have to fight the world. They have to worry about this at daycare and school. To have to go over to the grandparents' house and worry about it is so not cool or fair or nice or helpful. And none of it. Like, I'm just like, I was shocked. I really was. I almost wish that the Ruziks had better attorneys to squeeze facts and truths out of Watts. Someone like Juan Martinez, who hammered the daylights out of Jodi Arias. Yeah. Oh, that would have been nice, eh? Yeah, Jim exists. I found Jim's profile. I saw who he was. Regardless, if he was in Milwaukee or whatever, and he did talk to Nicole on that fateful morning, it would be nice for, all of us to hear whether or not and see whether or not the FBI and the CBI went to pay him a visit. I mean, in all honesty, they probably did, you guys. We just didn't get the information. There is no way that the FBI and the CBI are going to go out and meet with Trent Bolt and his friends and his family to make sure that that story was legitimate or not, but not check and verify Jim. Obviously, I think his last name was Gutowski or something. The man has, a lot of education under his belt and, seems to be, a reputable person of society and stuff like that, and probably in no way really was involved in any of this. Therefore, to release any of his information involved in this case would only be detrimental to him, because people are going to start hating on him for even knowing Nicole, probably, for what she's done and stuff, Yeah, I think it was Katowski or Gutowski. I'm not really sure, but something along those lines, And he's got some pretty interesting education, engineering, and stuff like that, He was a hiker, or he is a hiker. He won some medals and stuff, I believe, in some competitions, or I can't remember what those were. Skiing, perhaps. But yeah, no, the guy is a legitimate person from what I can tell. But in all honesty, like his phone pinged on August 13th at 6:15 in the morning when Nicole's phone pinged in Frederick. Well, she was calling Jim and his phone was pinging in Milwaukee. And you could see that on her records, Yeah, you missed the proposal, Lisa. You're funny. Oh, boy. Yeah, I would love to hear about the interview with him too, but let's face it, in all honesty, the guy probably doesn't know squat about any of this. And just because he knows Nicole and just because he spoke to her that morning doesn't necessarily mean that it has any added value to this case as far as his involvement or his knowledge or, anything about him with Nicole and Chris and all of that, Like the guy was just in Milwaukee when all of it was going down. So clearly he had nothing to do with it. Clearly it wasn't him that was sitting in the truck out front kind of thing that the neighbors saw, Yeah, everybody has ups and downs in their marriage, sure. Imagine Zellner questioning Watts. I think Zellner would rip Watts a new a-hole. She'd be like up one side, down the other, spin him around, inside no. I don't think Kathleen Zellner would touch him because, in all honesty, he is guilty, and we know that. You know what I mean? All we want to know now is, did you have any help with this? You know? Was that the proper spelling? I thought it was G-U-T. Gutowski. No, but I think this one was spelt like G-U-T-O-S-K-I. I'm not sure. But that, that's just my point, That's Jim's brother. You're funny, Lisa. It wasn't the FBI that went to the prison. It was the Colorado Bureau of Investigation that went to the prison. Just saying. Sorry, Sherry, we had to load shedding here. Zero electricity just came back on. I will have to catch the rerun. Sure. Sorry that you missed it. Pay attention to Sherry and me. I'm actually shocked. Yeah, dude. Right, Clary? I was so shocked when all that crap went down. Like, oh, man. Whatever, though. Moving on. I'm not even going to address it. I could see you're handling it. I'm just shocked that she thought she'd even have a chance in here. Miss Coley, I heard that there was just one in the kitchen placed on top of the sink. Yeah, I think, Lisa, I think that's how you spell it. I'm pretty sure. Now, you know what, you guys, don't be surprised if you can't find anything now, because, I mean, the guy, after all of this crap, and surely being questioned by CBI and possibly the FBI back when this was going on, which I believe that happened. I believe that the FBI would have questioned him for sure. I believe that at that point he would have been like, because I mean, they advised everybody to just stay off social media, from the Ruziks, to the Watts, to like everybody involved, because it was only going to bring, more heartache in this sense for them to listen to about all the debate and the thoughts and the opinions about this case and who is involved, Yeah, the house auction is postponed. You know what? I don't think that the house would have been released if there was still investigation going on. And we know that from when the Watts defense team for lawyers was inside the home. They, they had permission already due to the fact that the house was fully released from investigation. I'd love to see Zellner question him, though. Yeah. But I mean, Zellner's got such a good reputation as far as, going for the people that are actually sitting in prison wrongfully right now and, clearing their names. There was 3 officers. It was, hang on, maybe I still have a photo. I know it was Tammy Lee, Cotter. Here it is. Coder, Tammy, and then Bohover. Sorry, man. Bohover. I'm so bad with names. Oh my gosh, I'm just brutalizing it. It's just like, no, it is Bohover. I said it right the first time, and I'm just like, second guess, flipping fiddle all over my freaking words. Is it still on Facebook? I thought there was an I in the name for Lisa Bennett. That was. Hello, Tammy Kendust. How are you? If you guys are enjoying the live with me, throw up a like sign. I appreciate that. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. We have a lot of interactive conversations here. And this is one of the best non-bullying, non-attacking, non-judgmental platforms on YouTube. So I welcome all of you. Yeah, you'd pay a small fortune just to see him bulldog her or bulldog him. Yeah, I know. Tammy Kendust, I'm a huge fan. Can I have a shout out? There's your second one, honey. Came back to give the first thumbs up. Aw, thanks, Amy. You're so sweet. Thank you. Sorry, if Coder is FBI, then there was one officer of FBI there. And then the two Colorado Bureau of Investigation. I thought the Cotter was with the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, so I'm sorry if I'm mistaken by that. I can admit it. Yeah, there is an I in the name. I thought so too, yeah. I definitely, Shanna B, I definitely think they're going to be going back and doing more of this. Absolutely. And for Starbright, I really don't care what any of you or him or whatever, anybody negative, I really don't care what they think. So you're not welcome here. Bye-bye. From what I've seen, I think you're the only person actually focusing on all aspects of the case instead of people's personal opinions about one subject and own twisted narrative. Nice work, Chris says. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate those kind words of encouragement. In all honesty, you know, I do try to look at everything objectively. And from the beginning of this case, I really wanted to make sure I had evidence before I sort of came out with my full-fledged opinion. Obviously, what he did was certainly just disgraceful and, you know, almost unforgivable, right? I mean, for crying out loud, he's affected so many people in this process and taken off so many beautiful lives off this earth. It's brutal. And I do want to look at it from every possible objective. And I do want to take in everybody's, you know, opinion and stuff as well. They're going to make damn sure if they arrest someone else that the charges will stick. Yes, exactly. Bum over. Thank you, Clary. You liked and subscribed. Thank you, Selkie Chi. Appreciate it. I think Jim was questioned, Valerie W. I totally think that the FBI wasn't necessarily going to release that kind of information to us due to him, in all honesty, you guys, having nothing more to do with this other than having a connection to Nicole Kessinger, and he knew her. And he may have talked to her that morning, but it was very clear where he was in the world, and it was very clear where she was in the world, and they were not together. So Lobby Lose, just LOL. I subscribed and liked. Thank you, Tammy Kendust. Much appreciated. Alexandra TV. Beautiful. Thank you for the heart eyes. Glad to have you here. Yes. Well, I believe that Jim's specific interview was taken out of that discovery document. I don't think that the CBI or the FBI authorities involved felt the need to disclose and release that kind of information because let's face it, they're not just going to release a little bit of it. It would have included his name, his address, his phone numbers. He would have had to change his life, in other words, to get away from it had they have released that, all for just having a connection to Nicole Kessinger. I could see why they would have said, no, we're just going to hold this back because they could see that he literally had probably nothing to do with this. And he just spoke to her that morning, Probably exactly what Chris Watts is getting in prison. Up one side, down the other, spin him around. You're funny. Hello, Lisa Long. Hello, Stacy Kazokovich. I'm sorry if I said that incorrectly. I'm really bad with names. Nicole Kessinger should take a polygraph if she's innocent, which she's not. Yeah, it's a little bit ironic that she doesn't even offer to take a polygraph to sort of clear her name. I personally would love to see the GPS coordinates to see if she was actually at the house or not, Hello, Lahaina. Salut, ma belle. Comment ça va? Ma Canadienne. Just kidding, but you are. Thank you, B. Jones, for the subscribe and like. I appreciate the support. You stopped watching others due to that, Stacy? Want to know if there's drama here? No drama with those people. I don't have anything to really do with any of them, actually. So I worked out things with Justice for Jay. But yeah, I don't know even what the other two, I don't know who PL and MM is even. So, but no, if that answers your question, no drama here. Jacinto Messi Dios. I'm not sure what I think I know what you're trying to say, but I'm not sure exactly what you're trying to say. Where am I from? I wish I could say your name. It looks like Chinese or something. I'm sorry. I don't know how to say that. I'm from Canada. You're loving the no drama here, right, Lisa? Isn't it just like it's relaxing where you can just come and have a decent conversation and bounce some things back and forth. We can debate it out, talk it out. We can even argue a little bit, but there's no need for anybody to be attacking anybody else. And that my moderators know that about me and they help maintain that kind of platform for all of us. So it's not just thank you to me, it's thank you to them too, Excuse me. Wasn't Jim visiting NK on the day after the murders? Dagny says. I think that's how you say your name. So regardless if they got together even after all of this happened and they spent some time together, it really, in my opinion, in my view, it kind of it doesn't really matter, right? I mean, what matters is whether or not he was there, if he was helping her, was he driving her truck or whatever, you know what I mean? But when she called his phone and he pinged in Milwaukee, I think it was very safe to say he was nowhere near Colorado. You know what I mean? He was nowhere near the Watts home. Half rudder, right? Leave Jim alone. In all honesty, they had to have checked with him because she was trying to sort of use him as an alibi in a sense, Yeah, NK's daddy certainly does have a lot of money, and certainly that can pay for some, well, you know what I mean. You should do a jingle, Sherry. What, like my TGIS? Thank God it's Sherry. Oh, boy. You won't yell at us at all? Aw, Purple Rain. No, if I get a little overly vocal, it's usually just because I'm passionate about what I'm talking about. It's never directed usually at anybody. That being said, on the last live, we did have an incident, but I needed to squash that, you know? I don't appreciate people kind of acting like, you know, they need help and they're victims, but then they really didn't, and they've got it all handled. It's, you know, that's not cool in my opinion, but yeah, we don't need the drama, Yvette. You got that right. Yeah, no, I definitely don't really yell at people like I, you know, even when I was upset about on the last live, I didn't really yell. I was just direct. Sherry theme tune and then yells thank God Sherry. Hey Mike, what day is it? What day is it? TGIS. Too funny. I'd love to do a commercial thing like that off that spin. You're from Nova Scotia? Nice. That's so awesome. Very cool to meet a fellow Canadian, Selkie Chi. Very cool. You look beautiful, by the way. Such a small photo, right? Clary heard an in case grandpa that has makeup box. I feel like almost the Mason talk and stuff was just used to try to create like some fear in people, try to create a little bit of panic, you know, like you could be getting in trouble with like the Illuminati or whatever. And, you know, I honestly feel like they kind of tried to pull out every trick in the book to try to get this fire off of her. But after so many people kept hearing about the discrepancies, more people kept ordering the disclosure document to find out and read what it is that was being so discrepancied about. And once they did, they were like, oh, okay, I can see, you know, and the more people could see, the more people were talking about it. And the more heat was sort of on her, you know. But her, you know, doing damage control and calling people and getting them to take videos down and all this kind of stuff. That was all a bunch of nonsense. None of that was true. In my opinion, none of it. B. Jones. It's TGIS. We laugh a lot, yeah, because it's the best medicine next to Vicodin. Oh my goodness. Lisa. Hi, Gigi Jardin. You're back. I noticed. Thank you for the hearts, honey. If I was innocent, I would be singing to the high heavens to prove my innocence, right? Instead of worrying about my life and hiding away and, you know, lawyering up, I almost probably would have just come out with my evidence to prove that I really wasn't anywhere near this crazy guy. And here it is to show you, you know? That would have been probably the smartest move that she could have done, because all of us would have been able to see like, oh, okay, so, you know, you were just passing through Frederick. You weren't actually on Saratoga Trail Street. You were just, maybe you were at the gym. Maybe you were at the Survey site. You know what I mean? Like, we'd be able to see where the hell she actually was, because she certainly can't seem to frickin' answer it very well. She's stuttering and stammering, and she can't really seem to get her details out about where she was Sunday, Monday, you know? The moderators are great and super quick. You got that right, Yvette. Yes, yes, yes. Maybe you can make a commercial for your business, Cajun Kevin. Hey, that would be really cool and probably a really fun experience. If you're interested in sincerely working together, I'll put my email up and you can send me an email. onesassygirl.sw@gmail.com. There you go. Thank you. And you are also beautiful. Aw, thank you, Selkie Chi. You're so sweet. Very, very sweet. There must be a way to make you and all of your mods do the what day is it? The intro. That would be super fun to make. I'm not gonna lie, you know? We would have to do like I don't know, because if you have too many different settings, right? Like we'd have to have a similar background setting so that it looked like you're maybe sitting in an office cubicle or something, right? Same color, whatever. I don't know. I'm not super edit savvy. I'm trying though. I'm working on learning stuff, so I'd be begging for a polygraph as well. I'd be like, anything you need to do to clear me, anything you want my phones, you want access to my records, like I'll just sign a paper. You can have access to anything and everything you freaking want. Like I seriously had nothing to freaking do with this. But that's not what she's singing and dancing to, is it? She's singing and dancing to making new friends in the police precinct and the federal bureau office and she's like chumming up with everybody, and she's deleting things and she's lying and her details aren't adding up and her story's changing and she's stumbling and stuff. Hi from Florida. Do you think NK helped him? From Paula Azinger. I definitely think that she knew more about this and she perhaps even maybe helped him. In the truck video where you can see Chris Watts is backed up to the house and he spends a good 15 to 20 minutes in there almost. Well, 15 to 18 minutes it seems like he spends inside the house. And during when he's coming out and putting everybody into the truck, it is pretty obvious that you see some other lights that are going on inside the truck. Now, what I would like to know is, did the Anadarko truck have an interior light that was lower in the truck? Did they have that kind of a model that had that kind of a feature? Or could it have been possibly that one of the girls was holding a device? See, the thing about that, though, is that the light didn't really seem to be moving that much. So unless they were maybe just sitting there holding it, though, is the only other way I could think of. Or perhaps someone else was in that truck with him while he was loading them up and driving off to the service site at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, right? 5:30ish, right? Exactly, Loney. Look at how Scott Peterson's mistress helped with the investigation compared to what Nicole Kessinger is helping with this investigation. I mean, she's creating for more trouble than anything. Granny, don't keep smiling. It looks good on you. Thank you. We need a group chat. Yeah. She's talking dirty. Lisa. Cajun, didn't the FBI track her GPS? Yes, they would have had to have gotten a warrant for that. And I believe that is also something that we have not had access to, and it was not released to the public. Because in the interview with Nicole Kessinger, the officer specifically tells her that, if he would like to get a warrant for her GPS coordinates, is she okay with that? Does she have a problem with that? And, she's like, yeah, no problem. And I don't know what was maybe sitting in front of her at the time and stuff, but, and I think it was a paper that she was signing, relinquishing, allowing them to search her phone as far as any conversations to do with Chris Watts. But she was also putting together the fact that they were going to be able to look at all of her conversations, no matter if that was with Charlotte or other friends. And, they were going to be able to see everything. And she at one point even says that, well, I thought you were just going to be looking at me and Chris's conversation, which, the officer quickly backs up and says, like, listen, if we're going to get your GPS, we need a warrant. We're going to do it properly, kind of thing is what he's advising her. And I don't know if it was just a scare tactic to see the kind of look on her face or something, but you would think that, yes, in this kind of a situation, a murder of 3 people, 4, including the baby that was not yet born yet, would warrant some of this search and would warrant some of this digging. And the fact that there was so many lies from her, they would need to verify, her exact whereabouts, You have the same truck, Cajun Kevin? Oh man. So did that truck have that kind of a feature where it had a light on the interior bottom level, or no? Cajun Kevin, I'm wondering. Yes, it does. See, okay, that's what I had wondered, was when Chris opened the door to put Shanann in and put the kids in, that light that was on the lower part of sort of the dash, it gives light to the feet room area, you know? I kind of thought that it was perhaps maybe something like that. But the other thing that brings into question with all of this lights and Chris backed up to the house and all of that is the fact that when he opens up one of the door, the light opens and flashes on the right side blinker. On the passenger side of the vehicle, that light flashes. So my next question is, when you open up the vehicle door on that kind of a model truck, does it flash the light on the mirror on the passenger side? Like, does it flash both passenger and driver's side? We wouldn't have been able to necessarily see the driver's side because of how it was positioned on the other side, right? But could it have been that when he opened up that door, it flashed the light? So Cajun Kevin, I'm asking you that because you have that kind of truck, you're saying. But here's the deal with the lights. Yes, both will light. Okay. So, and she dared to think she could compare to Amber Fry. Yeah, exactly. That's very laughable. Cajun Kevin, I'm hoping that you're going to elaborate just a little bit more, because if that's the truth, right, that it was just him, when he opened up the back of that truck, it flashed the lights on both sides, but we only saw the one side. And we didn't see anybody get out or walk past the passenger side of the vehicle, you know? So now it's like, well, okay, so if I'm going to try to type it well, okay. So like that brings me back to the whole point of, okay, so did Nicole, meet him out at the service site? Because he still doesn't seem to know exactly how the girls died. He specifically states in his recent interview with the officers that he put a blanket over them first, and then he put their mouth his hand over their mouth. No, it's okay. Like I'm be willing to be patient if Cajun's writing it out. But I had stated this, you guys. I was sure that perhaps it could just be from his activity on the one side of the vehicle that we were seeing, like a door had opened. So the lights flashed for a quick second, He got the fave blanket. Yeah, no doubt, Selkie? Did I see the AD difference in the jeans? I did see the difference in the jeans, and it did really look like a shorter version. And Shanann has a bigger bum than Nicole. So I think that there was no way that could have been Nicole. I mean, Shanann. It looked like it could have been Nicole. Sorry. But yeah, no, I definitely, I'm definitely like inquisitive about this now because, he clearly doesn't seem to fully know exactly how they died. Nicole had her own vehicle. Did they get her GPS coordinates? Do we know? I know when you're right, when you're serious, and when you paid attention. You're funny, Clary. Clary's just reading me over there. That's okay. And everyone said he was mad. Sherry never said he was mad, though. Yeah. Well, I think that calmness comes a little bit from, the relationship that he's developing with God in a sense, but I believe that relationship will tug on his heart to get him to fully fess up and admit to every single detail about this. Yeah, AD was right about the shadows. There was definitely shadows for sure. Just not having to defend you. Oh. Does NK have another car? Yes, she has a car and a truck. Yeah, the Anadarko trucks were monitored by Anadarko, and they were only used for work. Pam Frenchman. Maybe that's why the investigation isn't complete. GPS. I don't know, right? I mean, it would be nice to know if they actually went and got a warrant for that, but we can't see that right now. Well, I can't anyway. Hello, Mrs. Elegance from Turkish. Welcome. Excuse me, pardon me. The blanket was in house when Colorado police did search. No, the blanket was not in the house. The blanket was found in his truck. Okay, so Cajun Kevin, the two lights, one is a cab light brighter, the other is a mirror on the door. Yeah, a light that's on the mirror on the door. Yeah. Every time he opened his door, the right light went off. When he closed the door, the cab light would stay on. Right. That makes complete sense and validates what I've been saying, actually, because I did wonder this about the Anadarko trucks. So thank you so much for clearing that up. I think that's important to, really understand what sort of safety things were used, because if it's a work truck, you're going to want to have that lighting on the lower level for, tools that are maybe lying on the ground or, things that they're working with. So, and if they're doing any late night jobs and they don't have a light on the lower end, it could cause for some kind of, safety issue or something, right? But that's exactly what I thought, was that when he would open up the door, the light would flash on the passenger side, which was just activating and acknowledging that one of the doors was open, What did Chica say? You have to get him to the point of remorse, then tell Chris they will exhume their bodies. He should sing like a bird. That would, that's plausible for sure, Chica Chilled. Because, I mean, if they can try to at least threaten something like that to him, and like, do you want that? Would you like for the Ruziks to have to go through that again, and for everybody to have to relive, and, the decaying process, and how awful that's going to be for the coroner to have to do a re-autopsy? It could very well be used as a tactic for them to say, hey, listen, this is our next step. Unless you can really tell us what really happened there that day. Otherwise, we may not have any other choice but to go and exhume up the bodies and find out, do you really want that, Chris? I could see them using it as a tactic. Absolutely. Chad Pipkin. I drove to the Watts house a couple of weeks ago, took some videos, was creepy, saw the neighbor had on the same orange hat on. Interesting. Yep, might go back soon. Yeah. Chad, that would be really cool to share on my channel. I don't know if you'd be interested in sharing that with me or not, or allowing me to share that, but I could make an interesting little story about that, the best I get is Google Maps. And I mean, as realistic as it does kind of look, it's nothing like in person, right? That's such a good point. Yeah, Cajun Kevin, I appreciate you verifying that truck actually has some of those, you know, features and stuff like that, because, you know, some other creators weren't really sure if, you know, perhaps somebody was in the front seat and they were opening up the door. But I mean, it just logically, it didn't really make too much sense to me as to why somebody would do that. And because Chris was standing at the back of on the driver's side of the truck, it made more plausible sense that it was due to his activity that light was going off, you know? The house was darker, more creepy than you thought it would be. They had a video on one of the neighbors saying they were gonna call the cops on you too. Aw. Oh, geesh. I'm sure there's a lot of people that have done exactly that, you know? All they need to say was it was on video. He would, if confessed, maybe the truth. I'm sorry, Paula Azinger, your sentence doesn't make sense there. If you read it out loud to yourself, you'll see what I mean. Don't get locked up. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Yeah, that would be super cool, though, for sure. Yeah, maybe a collab. Oh, you're willing to do that. I wanted to upload them to YouTube, but want to add music to it. I don't know which video editing app. I think you mean to use, though, but you wrote to her, though. I don't know what kind of device you have. Depending on your device, would depend on the app I would recommend. Is the Watts home up for sale? Oh man, after all this crap, I wouldn't doubt it if they were thinking about it, getting the heck out of Dodge, for all honesty. But I'm sure they're actually, if that is the case, they're not going to go too far either, because I mean, they want to still be able to see their son, right? An Android Note 8. So, I mean, you can go to your Play Store, I believe it is, with Android, and just search for editing apps. No, Clary. Unhide the user. I would go to your Play Store, Chad, and check out editing apps. And, well, I don't know. I guess I am taking it for face value. I'm like, hey, you know, why so good looking? You're funny. You're funny. I would never buy this house. Are you talking about the Watts house, or are you talking about the Ruzick house, Lonnie? I was acknowledging him too. I don't know. Well, thank you, David Langley. I appreciate the compliment. We all just... What? Are you seriously irritated, Clary? Because I was conversing with a troll, supposedly? Please tell me that's not the case. Mommy of two cuties. I think I saw the Watts home for sale from the bank. Interesting. Paula, I'm sorry I'm saying if Tammy would have seen Chris taking the bodies out to the truck, he would have admitted a lot more. Chris is very childlike and not so smart in common sense. I'm annoyed because I blocked his link 3 times. Well, I am trying to talk to this person who supposedly has some videos of the Watts family home for going out down there and stuff, and I would like to see what this person has and if it is valid. I don't know. Are you serious, Clary? Like, what the fiddle? Honestly. Poor gun links? What? Oh my gosh. Okay, well, right, Chica? I'm kind of like shocked myself. Like, all right, let's just settle down here. I don't know what the fiddle is going on here, but aside from all of this and that, like, let's just forego that. I'm really not willing to discuss it right here, actually, but regardless, I'm hoping that we're going to get some information soon about more of this investigation and more of what people have done on the back lines of things. So, yeah, like, I unblocked him when I talked to him. Yeah, I don't know what this is all about. In all honesty, it's just like whatever. I'm not even going to focus on it. I'm just going to let it go. So, yeah, night, Clary. Hope you get some good rest. See you later. Confused right now. I know, right? Her Stephanie. I'm just like, okay, I don't know. I really thought that it was something genuine and that this person was saying like they have some videos that they, had acquired. So who knows? Perhaps it's not authentic. I don't know if the person is going to send Pornhub links. I have no idea what all this is about. We're talking about Chris Watts and the Watts family and, I guess so. I'm not really sure, Stephanie. I mean, I was really actually interested in what this person had to say here for a minute, but I guess I'm supposedly reading it wrong or something, and it's just a spammer or something. I don't know. Okay, so the interview that happened with Chris Watts that was supposedly 5 hours long at the prison system as well, it didn't seem to necessarily add up timeline wise. The officers at one point, said that they had been talking for, 3+ hours kind of thing. And, that they might be back and all of this jazz. And in all honesty, it appears as if at that point, there is some footage that's missing from the timeline of that interview. So it's in my opinion, it's very, very plausible that there are some things that was said during this interview that are not released to the public that we don't know about yet, Yet being the operative word, folks. Maybe just send me an email, Chad. My email link is in the feed there. Send me an email and we can chat maybe like behind this all this scene. I am drinking coffee. Scrappy 420 says I have no clue what this channel is about, but I came to see the hottie. You're so cute. Well, thank you. Throw up a like while you're here and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. My channel is about truth, true stories, any kind, crime, missing people, natural disasters, survivors. And we're specifically talking about the Chris Watts case right now and whether or not he has admitted to, the authorities that he had an accomplice that night. Excuse me. So Chris got sentenced life without parole. And he was sentenced in Frederick, Colorado, and has since been transferred over to Wisconsin, where he will serve out the remainder of his sentence unless he's transferred again for some reason. Don't agree. We don't have all the information. You agree we don't have all the information, Granny Doe? Yeah, I definitely think there's some things that are missing from that conversation and from that interview. Yeah, he pled guilty to all 9 charges, and he received life without parole. No, I don't think so either, Stephanie, but apparently he puts up porn links and stuff. I don't know. I didn't see that. Maybe she's seen something I didn't see, but she just got all upset. I don't know if it's just because it's late at night over there or what. It's only like 9, 10 o'clock though. So I don't know. She also has kids. She's busy with work and she has pets and who knows. So why Chris didn't get the death penalty. I'm sure if it was another person, you know what I mean? He would have. Well, in all honesty, Jack Richard, in the state history of Colorado, there's only ever been one person that's been put to death. So in the opinion of the state district attorney also, it seriously really was more of a matter of not wanting to put the Ruzick family through 10 years of freaking trials and reliving this horrible nightmare over and over and over and over and over, just to have the death penalty be reinforced and because there's only been one person that's ever actually had the death penalty in Colorado, in all honesty, he probably just would have been a prolonged legal process that really financially didn't need to happen at all. And you think they postponed the house sale? Well, you know what? If there is some kind of investigation they need to go back and check for, well, I guess that could be a potential reason. But also the fact that, some people had died in this house, right? I blocked and hid a porn link. Oh my gosh, girl, that's horrible. Yeah, that is so fucking stupid. Well, I'm sorry. I didn't know that, I really thought, he was being genuine. Yeah, the Ruzick family was like, I don't really want the death penalty. It's only going to make them have to live through this longer, And I think that it's awesome that they're honoring the family's wishes, So, but yeah, this conversation's been really great, and I look forward to having more interactive conversations about this case and about other cases together. And I thank you guys all for joining. If this is your first time here, make sure you throw up a hello. I'd love to hear from you and respond and say hi back. So if you enjoyed all of our conversation today, you can throw up a like. And if you're new, please hit that subscribe button. I'd love to see more of you. On a separate, completely different note, I have received my second, or I guess it's third now, sponsor item. So I will be making a video soon on another sponsor video. So I hope that you guys, definitely stay tuned and come back and watch for more. And I thank you for the support, the online conversation, the interaction together is awesome. I enjoyed this. Thanks for being so cool, all of you. Love your shirt. Thank you. I appreciate that. Just a little thrift shop find. But yes, I love all of you guys, and I thank you for joining and watching, and I hope you guys all have a safe rest of the weekend. And I'll see you again soon for another true story with me, Sherry Wiens. Love you guys. Stay safe out there, and bye for now.